Yo, Counter Attack podcast with myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. We're back again with another video. I've got a special guest this week, so I'm just trying to figure out which day to release that one. So, yeah, guys, what's there to... Obviously, I announced my New Mexico show that is happening next week. I've got a show coming up. For those that are based in London, over the next couple of weeks, keep an eye out on my Instagram and Twitter. The handles are in the bio. Keep an eye out. I've got a show with Alexander Iwobi. You know, me, Donny Music, and Alexander Iwobi. We're just trying to figure out the date it's going to be. But that's going to be for the next couple of weeks, between now and the first week of April. We're going to just do a last minute thing in London. It's going to be free. So if you want to come down, we're evening, a panel discussion with me, Donny Music, and Alexander Iwobi, where you can come meet him. We're going to do giveaways. You can ask him questions. Then just follow up. And yeah, we're going to get that done. But where do I start? Obviously, this weekend was a bit of a, you know, in terms of Premier League football, a lot of games were called off because of the FA Cup weekend, but there was still a game yesterday and a game today where West Ham ended up beating Aston Villa, I believe. But it was obviously FA Cup weekend as well. So I'm going to start with a classic. And I think it was an FA Cup classic today. You know, Manchester United up against Liverpool. Listen. This game was a really, really good game for the neutral. I'm so happy. I'm ridiculously happy that I'm a neutral watching it. Obviously, you would have liked to have been in the competition still. But watching that game, knowing that it doesn't matter what happens because your team is not affected by it. You know, my heart rate ain't going to be up and down watching that. Watching it from a neutral point, it was like, cool. And obviously, with the way the game started, this is what United do. I don't know why United, they start so well, but then even when I was watching the game, I was just like, oh, they've got their early goal, but I already know Liverpool are going to come back into it because United always let their foot off the pedal. They can only play well and play with intensity for like 10, 15 minutes at a time, and then they're burst. And then you could see that as the first half went in after they got their goal, you could see that there were just gaps. And I was tweeting, I was just like, why are there so many gaps in United's midfield? And because I saw that very early on, and because the Man United players looked leggy very early on in that midfield, I just knew Liverpool were going to come back into it. I knew. So then by the time, you know, they get their goal, I can't even think of what the first goal was. Oh, McAllister. By the time McAllister got his goal, it was something that had been coming because they had been growing into the game. Man United hadn't really been attacking like they were before. Like I said, they looked a bit leggy. Liverpool started to get hold of the ball a bit more. And yeah, they got their goal, quickly followed by a second, and all of a sudden the game was turned on its head. All of a sudden it's just like, oh, same old Manchester United. And I'm just going to fly through because there's a couple individuals that I just want to talk about. So I'm just going to fly through the game. And Liverpool took liberties. Liverpool were taking a flipping piss today because they could have wrapped up that game fairly quickly. I remember there was one point in the second half where it was like 5 against 2 of their players, and they still managed to mess it up. And Jurgen Klopp was going mad on the sideline because what are they doing? They kept doing stuff like that, and then obviously what the pivotal moment was as well was the substitutions made by Klopp. I feel like he made those substitutions, and I feel like he made them a bit too early. He should have made those changes when they had got that third goal, because the game, it was actually embarrassing for United at one point. They were walking around, there was no tempo, there was just massive gaps in the team, and Liverpool, it was like a training game, and Liverpool took their foot all the way off the pedal and just allowed them back in, and I just wasn't understanding it. In fact, they didn't really allow them back in, but as long as it was 2-1, obviously United could always go and nick a goal. So by the time Anthony gets the goal, yeah, I know, Anthony gets a goal, it's like, raw, game on now. And, listen, at that point, I'm thinking, do you know what? Liverpool are probably still going to win this because, you know, it's Liverpool. Man United are going to fold. They don't deserve to be in the lead. I mean, they don't deserve to be back in the game. You know, that chance just happened to fall their way, but they've got nothing. But because Liverpool had the team that they had out there, no more Salah on it, no more Szoboszlai there. Who was? Robertson got taken off. Someone else got taken off. I can't even remember, but you got the key players being taken off. Luis Diaz got taken off. And now you've got like, not second string, but you've got like Conor Bradley coming on. You've got Tsimikas coming on. Cody Gakpo coming on. Do you know what I mean? Harvey Elliott, who to be fair, Harvey Elliott did all right. But it's not the same team. It's not the team that, you know, that was controlling the game and not giving them a chance. And you saw that because Rashford got a chance and Rashford should be scoring that. He should be scoring that. He should be hitting the targets. Wait, he should be scoring first and foremost. That's a given. If you're not going to score, you should most definitely hit the targets. So I don't know what happened where he didn't hit the target or what. It was a very, very bad miss. Very, very bad miss. Extra time comes. Liverpool managed to somehow get ahead. And then obviously we saw Man United winning with Rashford getting the last minute winner. No, not Rashford, sorry. Rashford got them back in it 3-3 and then Ahmad. And with the way the game was open and it was just so unpredictable, that's why I call it a classic. And, you know, there was a lot of poor things going on in the game, but it just added to the spectacle. Now, let's talk about certain players now. Not in a bad way or anything. Kobbie Mainoo. I keep talking about this guy, Kobbie Mainoo, and like, I said that there's something really Seedorf-ish about Kobbie. And that's not me saying he's like Seedorf and he's better than Seedorf or he's the player Seedorf was, because he's got miles to go. He's got years to go to get to them levels there. But it's just his maturity, the way that he manipulates the ball, the way that he never ever looks flustered. Kobbie is going to be a top player. And I hate the fact that Manchester United have him. And it's got me thinking, how much would it take for Arsenal to buy him? Give Man United like a quick 10 mil maybe? But no, on a real, Kobbie he's going to be a really, really good player. And the only thing that will stifle him is if, number one, you burn him out too soon. Number two, you don't surround him with the players needed to bring his game up to that level. Because no disrespect, if you continue to put him with McTominay and Eriksen for, you know, the foreseeable future, he's not really going to improve and you're going to kill him. So I just wanted to highlight Kobbie Mainoo and just say, what a player. Manchester United have a really, really good player on their hands. Can't believe that he wasn't even called up into the England squad, but Henderson was called up to. In fact, let's talk about that. We're going to come back to the game, but let's talk about the fact that Gareth Southgate has called up Henderson, but he has left out Kobbie Mainoo. Do you get what I'm saying? And like, what is it that Gareth Southgate is seeing that he continues to call up Henderson and leaves out players like Kobbie Mainoo? He even said himself, Kobbie is playing well. And the thing is, I'm okay with him going under 21s because he's still learning his game or whatever. But if there's someone who deserves the place ahead of him like that, then cool. But when you're doing it, when you're leaving him out at the expense of someone like, when you're calling up Henderson at the expense of someone like Mainoo, it's just like, come on, what are we really doing? And it's those things that make me just not like England sometimes, because in terms of the football team, because why are we all gonna act like we're not seeing what's going on? Do you get what I'm saying? He's moving mad. No wonder why Ben White as well said, no, I'm not playing, because why am I getting called up to go to the games and we know you're not going to play me? I hear it. And it's funny how people were just in uproar about Ben White not going. Like, if you don't want to go, you don't want to go. And I'm here for it. Like, and obviously I feel like there's something else that's gone on, because he obviously hasn't been called up since he left the tournament. Was it the World Cup? No, or the Euros. He left the Euros. He hasn't been called up since. So obviously something's gone on there. But yeah, back to the game. So that's Kobbie. Ahmad, I'm so happy for Amad Diallo, because when people like Anthony, and yes, I know Anthony scored today, but in general over the season he's been poor. When people like Anthony are getting games week in, week out, bearing in mind, granted that Anthony has been on the bench recently, but when Rashford, who was stinking out the place, was playing week in, week out, when Garnacho wasn't really performing, he's getting games week in, week out. Amad Diallo was not even getting a sniff when he was fit, because I know he had his injuries problems. So for him to come on today and get the winner, I think it just goes to show that yes, Man United do actually have players there. Yes, like give the boy a chance, and he's come on, he scored, and outside of his goal, I saw him tracking back, and I saw him like defending well and getting the ball, last ditch tackles, and he was really involved, and he kind of not changed the game, but he gave them that added vim to go on and push on and get the win. He was a bright spark, and it just annoyed me that after the game, Ten Hag was like, "Yes, I'm a Diallo. We have good players and blah blah blah." No, like you haven't been playing him. It was probably like last throw of the dice when you played him today. You probably didn't want to play him. So for him to come on and do that, I'm glad. But he then gets sent off as well for his celebration, and he probably wasn't going to play next game anyway, so he misses one game, and fair play to him. Who else is there? Van Dijk played well. Kwanzaa, I do like Kwanzaa a lot. Nunez is a problem. I just think Liverpool, man, they lost that. Man United did their thing in terms of coming back, but I feel like they were only able to do that because Liverpool allowed them back in. And, that quadruple dream that they had, it's not going to happen, But now they could obviously go and get their treble. So, again, fair play to them. But yeah, in the other game, in the FA Cup today. Oh, let me know what you think about that game. Was it a classic? Was that better than Arsenal, Man United back in the day when Ryan Giggs scored that goal? I don't think it was, but it's nice to see that the FA Cup is still serving up good classics like that. And also, listen, on to like the Chelsea match quickly. Chelsea obviously went and won their game, but what I do want to talk about is Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is going through a tough time right now, and it's interesting seeing the narrative in regards to the way people talk about Sterling. They talk about him being finished. They talk about him, never ever being that good anyway. And there's one person in particular, my boy, and when he hears this, he knows who it is. He turns around and says, "I've always told people about Sterling." But the thing is, Sterling is a player that has done his thing in the Premier League. He has done his thing. Yes, right now it's not really going well for him. He's missing the penalty, he's missing chances. But to see him getting booed by his own fans right now, it stinks. I'm not gonna lie, it absolutely stinks. I think we need to remember who Sterling is. I think we have to remember what he's done in the league. We have to remember the league titles he's delivered. We have to remember the goals that he scored. Let's not just suddenly just start piling on just because he's going through bad form. Because earlier in the season, when he was their best player, no one was saying any of this. But yes, he is going through bad form, and I don't like to see players get booed, even if it is opposition players. I don't like that, and I just feel like we need to just remember who Sterling is and just put some respect on his name. That doesn't mean we shouldn't hold him accountable. If he's playing bad, he's playing bad. Today, he had an absolute stinker. And even in his stinker, he set up the goal. He set up Cole Palmer's goal. So, yeah. So I did want to say that. I think that Chelsea have this thing, and I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can. When I look at Chelsea play, I can't believe that certain players, and I tweeted about this, I can't believe that certain players are playing for Chelsea Football Club. And I'm not going to single them out because you do have to remember they're professional footballers and, respecting it. But when I just think off the top of my head, Lampard, Drogba, Terry, Ballack, Essien, John Obi Mikel, Ricardo Carvalho, even like Ferreira, Ashley Cole, do you get what I'm saying? Hazard, Willian, David Luiz. Do you know what I mean? But like, check. There's players who are real players that, you're going to go out there and you're going to get in a game. When I see certain players that are playing, the fans must look at Chelsea and just be like, what is going on here? How did we go from having a spine like of Czech, Terry, Lampard, Drogba, and all top quality players in and around to players who are meant to be the brightest talents in the world, but really and truly, a lot of them are pinching themselves that they're there and they've signed 8-year contracts. Yeah, Chelsea are, I feel for them because, listen, they are just, they're bad. They're a bad team. I feel like their transfer strategy should be to go on and get experienced players who can come and deliver now. Because you can have, this is the thing about Chelsea. They went and bought all the brightest talents, but you could have all the potential in the world, but if you don't realize that potential, it's pointless. So all of these players that we're seeing and they're costing this and they're on these big contracts, they're putting out nonsense because, they're not surrounded by players who can actually help them grow. They're not in environments where, they can actually realize their potential. So, yeah, that's a conundrum for Chelsea. And that's what I was thinking when I saw, obviously they're through to the next round. They've got Man City. They got Man City in the semi-finals at Wembley. I do think Man City is going to win that game. I'm hoping Man City win. Because I can't have Chelsea, as bad as they were this season. I can't have them winning a trophy. No way. And I do want to talk about Coventry. Yeah, I do want to talk about Coventry. I think, one second. Yeah. When I look at how Coventry played against Wolves yesterday, you can see that they've got really, really good players. And I'm so happy that Casey Palmer has been given the platform to express himself and play how he's playing right now, because Casey Palmer is what you get when you have players when they're young who have crazy potential, but then they go out and then they get games, they get, first team games over, years. Because when you're looking at Casey Palmer play, he could easily play not easily, but when I look at Casey Palmer play, I can see someone that can play for top end championship or, even the Premier League. He is top quality. And by him going out and getting those first team games and, playing first team football, you're able to see that the quality that he had when he was younger, he's now blossomed into a top quality championship player. And so I did want to just highlight Casey Palmer, big him up. Eight Nori. Oh, I don't know how many times I'm going to talk about Eight Nori. He is just so flary. It's like he's just elastic. Do you get what I'm saying? I've got a lot of time for him, man. That he is, and this ain't me talking down on Zinchenko, but Eight Nori's will be better at doing what Zinchenko's doing than Zinchenko, I reckon. And that ain't me saying Zinchenko's bad or whatever. That's just me really praising Eight Nori. No matter where he is, he's just a footballer. Yes, he plays left back, that's his position, but he's just a footballer. And he's wavy as well. So, yeah, no matter where he is, left foot, right foot, in terms of dribbling with the ball, obviously he's left-footed, his ability to just, little touches around the corner. Yeah. I'm having him all day long. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Great weekend of football. Arsenal obviously progressed. I haven't spoken about that against Porto, but it's kind of old news now. Arsenal obviously have Bayern Munich. Listen, I do believe Arsenal can beat Bayern Munich. I think what will be the home game. I hate that we're home first as well, by the way. Hate it. But what will be key will be the home game, because if we can go there and beat them by 2 or 3 clear goals, I think they will struggle to overturn that at their ground. But I don't want to go there on 1-0 or 2-1, because away at their ground, it might be tricky. And I just don't trust Arsenal away in Europe. I've seen too many games where that just goes wrong, where we fold, especially against Bayern. But of all the teams we could have got, obviously the ones I wanted to avoid were Man City and, you know what, I wanted to avoid Man City, Real Madrid, and Atletico. Honestly, and Atletico and Bayern were on the same level, because both of them were just, Atletico they just got that siege mentality, and I just think Arsenal would struggle against that. Someone tweeted that they're the masters of the dark arts, and that's not what you want to come up against. But yeah, that's the Champions League draw. I think Arsenal have a great chance. The fact that Man City and Real Madrid play each other, which means that there's no chance you could play Man City and Real Madrid together in the same run. No, the fact that one of them has to be knocked out, I love it. So if Arsenal manage to progress and then get to the semis, if Arsenal manage to get to the finals, I believe we can win Champions League. But there's just so much football to get played that I don't even want to think about that right now. Let me not even think about that. But yeah, that's it from me. Guys, let me know what you think about the Champions League draw. What you think about let me know what you think about Champions League draw. Let me know what you think about the game this weekend. Liverpool and Man United, or Man United Liverpool, whichever one. Obviously, Man City Newcastle, I didn't really talk about that because I felt like that was just an easy game. Newcastle they just finished now, man. Like, they've got that thing about them where it's just like, okay, we're not going to qualify for Europe. There's nothing more to play for. Let me just see out the rest of the season. They got that thing about them right now, man. And, But yeah. Also, Alexander Isak. How much would it be? I asked a question on Twitter the other day for Alexander Isak. I asked the question, how much would it be to prize Alexander Isak away? Because I honestly think that he would be a great fit for Arsenal. But I'm hearing he's still got like 3 or 4 years left on his contract, and they bought him for 70 million. So you'd have to spend about 100 million on him. But if Arsenal were ever able to get Alexander Isak, that is my ideal striker. Obviously, if we're not going to get Harry Kane's, level of striker, let's go for the Isak, because I truly believe that guy is a top player. And if you surround him with top, talent, he will go on and just bag goals. Proper player. But yeah, that's it from me. Guys, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.